somebody around who's a sitter, who understands the medicine and who can help you through that.
You said earlier that it removes you from the problem-solving consciousness state.
Which we're normally in. We're normally thinking of the next problem we have to deal with.
How do we think? And then I think oftentimes in that state, we're not dealing with the problems that we have internally. We're not dealing with the trauma, the relationship, those things. So it's
often we're blaming them on other people.
Exactly. Yeah. So what's kind of interesting to me is even the way that you describe it, it's put a pause on those problems that we feel like we have to solve in every second to do kind of like self-work.
Inner work, yeah.
I wonder what is on the other end of self-work. Like, I wonder when you get through a lot of those things that you need to work on, where else they can take you. Because I don't think they go, you're good, see you later. Maybe you start to seek some of that. Maybe you need to deal with all of your stuff before you're ready for that higher consciousness.
Or maybe both things can happen all the time, because virtually every powerful psychedelic journey I have, and ayahuasca is certainly that, and my last ayahuasca journey was in 2019. DMT, NN-DMT more recently, and then 5-MeO DMT, they all sooner or later deal with my baggage. I carry a lot of baggage. Those of us who carry less baggage tend to have a gentler trip, but in my case, it's right in my face, and you've got to deal with it.
And you keep going after it.
I keep going after it because it's very useful teaching, and I keep slipping back into bad habits.
So it's a reminder.
Yeah, and it's really important to recognize that these substances are not a magic pill. It's going to fix you overnight.
I think people use them as that.
They're not.
I think they've become trendy in a way, and I think a lot of people are seeking out ayahuasca because they're like, hey, I have this block, and if I just do this ayahuasca, it's going to fix it for me, and then it's done.
Chances are it'll be done for a few weeks, and then you'll fall back into the old.
It's like a chiropractor or something.
You have to carry on the work. Yeah, the real work begins after the session.
So it's a recognition of what's going on, what you have to confront, and then you have to do that work afterwards.
And then you have to do that work. But as to novelty, I mentioned Kerry Mullis and the polymerase chain reaction. The other interesting one is Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. Did I mention them?
No, but they've been.
They also were very forthright, particularly Wozniak, that the Apple computer would not have been invented without LSD.
Wow.
And Francis Crick, who's the discoverer of the double helix form of DNA, along with other colleagues, he was a regular user of LSD in the 1960s before it was illegal, and the 50s. And he also suggested that he first got it. He got the double helix form under the influence of LSD. So these are scientific examples of people who are making a quantum leap forward in knowledge as a result of their psychedelic experiences, not as a result of their alert problem-solving state of consciousness that we value so highly, but as a result of a completely other state of consciousness. In my case, the novelty I got was I was given a novel during 5 ayahuasca sessions in Brazil. I had never written novels before. I always write nonfiction, and I still mainly write nonfiction. But I was given a novel. I was given the whole plot of the novel, and I ended up writing that novel. The session was in 2007. I finished the novel in 2010. It was called Untied. I had no idea that I had a novel in me, and perhaps my readers don't like it. I don't care. I found an area of myself that was new to me, and I was able to...
The entire story existed to you?
Yeah.
Now, explain to me how it existed, like plot, beginning, middle, end, or existed like, character?
I saw the principal characters, and I saw the setting. It was 2 young women, one living in the time of the Neanderthals and one living today, who were literally entangled in space and time, and it was the use of psychedelics in both times that enabled them to be entangled, and that they were brought together by an entity that they referred to. Sorry, my critics are going to go wild with this. They're going to drug shame me forever. But you know, they were brought together by an entity called the Blue Angel, whose purpose that there's a demon who travels through time called Sulpa, and he's seeking to destroy everything that's good about humanity, and he's doing that in 2 time frames, in the time of the Neanderthals and today. And this Blue Angel entity brings together these two young women in these two different time frames to do battle against the demon. That was the story that I was given, and that was the story that I wrote.
Do you see it like a movie, or how does that present itself to you?
I did see it a bit like a movie, yeah.
Wow.
I did. I saw scenes. I saw my young character from the Stone Age, Rhea, throwing stones very brilliantly at her enemies, and I saw the connection between these two women, and the sense of a supernatural battle of good against evil, against which the human story is played out, and that ultimately we humans always have a choice. We always have a choice between good and evil.
Shout out Lucid Boost in chat giving me all the help, and Joe T giving me all the help too. Big shout outs to them today. Shout outs to everybody in chat, Master Chief, everybody. Sailor Curse, everybody.
But it was that sense of that happening. Anyway,